Hello and welcome to another Win Daily Sports Show. My name is Michael Rasile. I got my man Ghost here with me, and we are talking the DFS slate for the Lakers Nuggets game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. Ghost, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, Michael. How about you?
It's a good day, man. We got some Western Conference basketball. We got Western Conference Finals basketball. It's even better. We got a little extra LeBron, so we'll see how he does in my life tonight. Late game, though. A little disappointed about that. I'm an East Coaster, and I like to go to sleep early, so going to be up till probably 12 watching this thing, it seems like. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited. And after what the Lakers were able to do, what Anthony Davis was able to do, what Mason Plumlee obviously was not able to do in this past game. It was absolutely a fantastic showing by everybody. Great game. Just to give everybody a little breakdown of what we're looking at. So we are on game 3. Doesn't matter to the Nuggets. They just need to win this one, and we know the series is still alive because they can go down 3-1 and come back on anybody, it seems like. But we have the Lakers favored by 6.5 points from our friends over here at DraftKings. And we have the over-under at 213.5. We have most of the money and most of the bets going on the under. So I think it's going to be a little bit more of a defensive battle. Obviously, the Lakers are one of the better defensive teams in the entire NBA, obviously, which has been a lot of fun, especially here in the bubble. They've been great. But we actually have a lot of the bets and a lot of the handle, a lot of the money going to that Denver plus 6.5, which I'm probably going to have to agree with them there. So if you are in a state that allows legal betting, of course, we have to we have to make that discrepancy. I don't know. I'd probably put my money on the Nuggets at plus 6.5. How about you, Ghost?
I do like this spot for them. Sitting game 3, and any team's not going to want to let this one slip away. And if they do, it's probably going to be a really close one. So 6.5 might be a little bit too much for me to take the Lakers.
I completely agree. I think it was 7 last game, and they obviously covered that very easily. But we're here to talk DFS. We always like to talk a little betting, just in case we have some locks for you, we like to say in the industry. But let's talk about this game. As we know from the last time Ghost and I were on, we are down to the showdown slates only, which means we're not picking a point guard and a shooting guard and a forward. Nope, we're just picking 6 players, and we're going to town. We do get a little differentiation. We get to pick a captain spot, meaning you're going to get 1.5 times the points, but it's also 1.5 times the salary. So it's going to cost you to get to those points. So obviously, as we're seeing here, LeBron James, most expensive on the slate, Anthony Davis, second, Jokic, third, Jamal Murray, fourth. It's not very surprising with any of these guys. And then from there, after you pick your captain, you just pick whoever you want at that point. You can pick all the centers in the world. You can pick all the point guards. It does not matter. But the most important spot you have, especially on DraftKings, is that captain spot. So Ghost, talk to me. I mean, it's hard not to go with one of these top 4 guys. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it starts and ends right there. If you want to get cute in your 150 max tournaments where there's 20, 30, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 people in them, then I'm all for trying to go for a punt with some value plays that I'm going to touch on in a little bit, but mainly in your single entries and your 3 max, and even in these 150 max tournaments, it would be a complete shock to me to see anybody other than one of these top 4 be in the captain spot in the most optimal lineup tonight.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like we're not playing the showdown slate to win $5. We're not trying to double up our money. We're trying to take home a lot of cash. And one thing I forgot to say to open up the show, make sure you're smashing the hell out of that like button. We always like to see when that goes up. I think we're already up to 10 or 15 now, so we appreciate the hell out of all of you. And please keep the comments coming. We're going to answer questions. We're going to do whatever you want. We do this for you guys more than we do it for ourselves. Granted, we really do like to do it for ourselves. We promise you that. We would just have this conversation off air for fun sometimes, but ask us some questions. Ghost has got you covered with all this NBA talk, and we appreciate the heck out of you guys there as well. So talk to me, I guess, how do you want to start? Let's just maybe start a quick build here. Are we going LeBron? Are we just, hammering him in at that first spot? Is that where you're going to go? Or where are you seeing, again, with these top 4 guys, are you going to probably put most of your ownership towards?
AD's on a mission in these conference finals. I don't know what happened, but again, they hit this 3rd round, and AD's just gotten into another level. So for me tonight, it is AD over LeBron. LeBron's a constant triple-double threat, and he will get there with both rebounds and assists. But AD's scoring output right now is something that that really interests me. I talked about it when we were heading into this series as we did our preview for game one. And of course, again, I mentioned it in our preview of game two. AD typically dominates Jokic. He's a guy that I don't know what it is, but it's an individual matchup that he's been constantly been able to exploit over the time of his career. And it's looking like that exact same thing here in the conference finals. He has the edge in the paint. He's been rebounding really well, doing his thing on the defensive end. If you're going LeBron or AD, I see that someone just asked a question as well for LeBron or AD. In case you haven't, in case you just tuned into the show, it is AD over LeBron for me tonight. In terms of these Nuggets players, both Jokic or Maul are definitely viable. Jokic definitely turned out to be a great play in that game two. Exactly like what we had said in game one. They did come out a little sluggish. Him and Maul were pretty much playing 40, 42, 44 minutes a game as they tried to and successfully did come back from that 3-1 deficit. So we were expecting them to be a little gassed, that's exactly what they were in game one. Both of them looked great in game two. They put up a tremendous effort and almost stole that one. So I expect the exact same thing here tonight and pretty much all series long if they're going to try and take this one away. Because of the salary differential, I do end up giving the slight advantage to Jamal Murray because of the flex players that you're able to get with going him over Jokic. But I'm not going to talk anybody off going Jokic at the captain spot tonight for sure. He's a great play. He's a guy that you're going to need to score at least 25 points ideally for him to get there. But again, for me, it's AD and Maul.
I love that. And that is a good breakdown. It always matters with the salary because if you do go AD, it makes it a little easier to get those other guys in. And one thing that we definitely want to make sure everybody's understanding is we're not playing one lineup, right? We are not doing one $10 single entry. And now people do this and that's fine. And you can do what you want to do. But what we usually suggest here, especially at Win Daily, is you're going to do, if you want to play a showdown slate, put in 10 lineups. Get crazy with it. Have a couple fun different things go on. Put some of these weird ones in there. So you're going to want to do 10 $1 lineups. If you have $100 that you're planning on playing with for this game, 10 $10 lineups. That is the way you actually have the opportunity to build closer to that optimal lineup, which Ghost was talking about, which means you're going to have a couple with LeBron. You're going to have a couple with AD, Joker, and Maul all in this captain's spot. So you can get different. You can see how the things build out and you can see the way that it goes. We have some comments coming in. Denver today. Denver wins. We need intrigue. I completely agree with you, David. We do need some intrigue. I would like this to go 7, only because game 7 is the 2 sweetest words in sports, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm very excited for this game tonight, and I think it'll be absolutely fantastic. So, Ghost, we'll go with your first build. We'll hop over. We'll have AD in that captain spot, and we'll start to look at this a little bit more. And we really do need to find some of these value plays. But you get AD in the captain spot. Going to be difficult to put LeBron in there, obviously. It's going to be difficult to put LeBron, Jokic, and Maul in there. That's almost impossible. I mean, just kind of quickly looking at that, it is literally impossible to have all those guys in there. So if you're going to pick one guy off of AD to come down to next, where are you going?
You can never go wrong with one of the three of them. It's pretty hard to argue going both AD and LeBron virtually in every single game in this series, but I'm okay with going Jokic or Murray or even both and fading LeBron in as crazy as that sounds in 150 max tournaments. In your single entries and your 3 maxes, LeBron's going to be really chalky, meaning he'll garner the most ownership. He'll also probably be having the most ownership at the captain spot as well. So not only are you getting an edge by fading him in your utility spot, but he'll likely be the highest owned captain as well on the slate. A lot of people end up going with somebody that typically has the highest ceiling, and whenever LeBron or Giannis are on a slate, James Harden as well probably fits into that category. It's the rare opportunity where you can end up paying a very hefty price tag for your captain and it ends up paying off. But tonight, I'm not opposed to fading LeBron. As crazy as that sounds, I'm almost shaking as I'm saying it because it's scary just to think about something like that. But for our build right now, I will take both Jokic and Murray. I'll gladly take the savings there and end up seeing what our utility spots look like. And from what I had mentioned in our original preview of Game 1, where we kind of did a more in-depth strategy show based on showdowns, if you end up picking your last 3 spots and you see that you have salary left, that's where you can end up just going from Jokic to LeBron or making your adjustments. You want to end up putting Jokic at captain over AD because you can go LeBron over Jamal Murray, then that works too, right? So for the initial build right now, top 3 spots, I'll go with AD, Jokic, and Mal. And then we'll see what we're left with and see if we could jam LeBron in there too as well over one of Jokic or Mal.
Yeah. Again, you can move stuff around, right? If you want to fade Jokic and go LeBron, you can absolutely do that. I mean, it's $1,000 difference, so you'll be able to make up that $300 a player in some of these lower opportunities. And just looking at it here, if we do go Anthony Davis, Jokic, and Jamal Murray, we're left with about $4,000 per player remaining. So that means it's going to be difficult to stick someone like Michael Porter Jr. in there because then we're only left with 2,300 per. So we're going to have to go down the board a little bit. Talk to me about guys like Kyle Kuzma, Gary Harris, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Danny Green, some of these guys in that low 5, mid 4 range, which you could probably get 1 or 2 of them in before we really have to before we really have to go dumpster diving.
Yeah, absolutely. This upper mid range is something that I want absolutely nothing to do a part of tonight. Michael Porter Jr., very risky GPP play. If you're entering 150 lines, and again, I think that main tournament has just under 60,000 entrants in it, then I'm all for it. You're definitely going to want at least some exposure, especially on a showdown slate. You're going to want to enter multiple lineups. Not necessarily 150 will get you there, because we all know that just because you enter 150 lineups doesn't guarantee you anything in DFS. So it only takes one lineup for you to get there. So, but again, we practice what we preach, right? So if you're running at least 5 to 10 lineups, looking at different angles, then I would suggest getting Michael Porter Jr. in at least one of them. A 10% exposure, 1 out of 10 is not something that'll kill you. And you know what? If he ends up going off, then you'll at least have that one possible lineup where he's optimal in it. But for right now, he's simply too expensive for a guy that's coming off the bench and virtually getting not as many touches as a player of his magnitude should be getting, with Jokic and Mal dominating all the usage on the offensive end. Rajon Rondo is an interesting play coming off the bench. He's been playing great minutes. He's almost pretty much third, if not fourth best player on this Lakers team during their playoff run right now, with an honorable mention to my favorite value play on the slate that I'm about to mention. And I see you nodding your head because you know exactly who I'm about to talk about. But needless to say, Rajon Rondo is his price has caught up to him. Before we had the luxury of playing him in between that $4,000, $5,000 range. He was a guy that was seeing 20 to 25 minutes. He's active on the glass, definitely racks up some assists as he always has throughout his career. But for a guy that's pretty much a virtual lock on any given night to score under 10 actual points, $7,000 is a hefty price to pay when there are other players at half of his price tag that I'm interested in. And Jerian Grant, like I had mentioned in the last show, we ended up taking the under on the Thrive prop, which hit by 1. So that was great. We got it at 16.5. He ended up hitting 15. So a win is a win. We'll take it. Jerian Grant has not been as active as I would like him to be in a series like this. Kudos to the Mike Malone effect. I can't really say that I agree fully with his rotation strategy throughout these playoffs, but Jerian Grant at 6,600 is not somebody that has too much appeal. Gary Harris, to talk about the first person of the group that you had mentioned, he's somebody that I had really high hopes of heading into a series like this. I thought he could really exploit a matchup against a guy like Danny Green or KCP or whoever he was pretty much seeing at the 2, or even if he saw a little bit of run on the wing there as well. He just hasn't looked that good throughout the first 2 games. But again, if you're making lineups based on game logs, that's a recipe for disaster. So seeing a guy that's had decent volume, it's not exactly the shot attempts that we would like him to have. They are still in the single digits, but keep in mind that Mull and Joker are pretty much shooting 5 million times per game here. So we'll take anything that we could get from this Nuggets roster. Gary Harris has shot pretty much abysmal from the field. He's gone 1 for 6 and 2 for 7. So some positive regression is definitely coming. He's a guy that will likely come in under owned at his respective price. Kyle Kuzma doesn't interest me all that much, similar to what I said about Rajon Rondo. The next 3 Lakers are probably my favorite 3 salary savers on the board. In order, I would take Alex Caruso, Danny Green, and then KCP. What can be said about Alex Caruso? I don't know what's happening in this bubble. Obviously, it's nice to see some young, promising stars absolutely flourish. Guys like Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, and my fellow Canadian Jamal Murray, of course, with what he did throughout the first 2 rounds. But Man, Alex Caruso has been coming off the bench and been absolutely electric for this Lakers team. At 3,600, he really doesn't need that much to get there. He's always active on the offensive end. He's active on the defensive end as well, and you could see that by not only his defensive stats but also the amount of fouls that he has. He's somebody that plays aggressively, so that could end up biting him in you know where. But again, it's a guy that I'm willing to take a chance on at 3,600. Definitely has that high upside, and my favorite punt on the board tonight.
Danny Green. I'll stop you there for 1 second. I'll stop you there for 1 second. I think with Alex Caruso too, you're seeing the electricity of what it takes to win in the bubble, right? Like you saw after he had that dunk, the whole Lakers team just walked onto the court. It wasn't a timeout. It wasn't anything. They just all walked onto the court and started screaming and throwing things, it looked like. And it was like, what are we doing, guys? But hey, they're into it. And I think that is one thing that you're seeing is these teams need to create their own environment, right? Like that AD shot, the only thing that was wrong with it, and I heard this on Zach Lowe's podcast earlier today, the only thing that was wrong with it wasn't in Staples Center, and there wasn't, 20, 30,000 people just going absolutely ape shit after it happened. So that part is unfortunate, but it is still fun to see the Lakers team get up and get for it, which I mean, I think it shows how much they really do respect the hell out of Alex Caruso too. And hey, maybe he gets a little extra run because of it, which was great. So, I mean, shout out Alex Caruso for what he's done. And you're totally right, man. We love seeing Jason Tatum and Spidey Mitchell and Jamal Murray, but it's kind of cool to see this guy who's like very balding, really kind of show out a little bit on this type of stage, which is a lot of fun. So back to the lineups though. So we're loving Alex Caruso, one of your favorite punt plays. You said KCP and Danny Green, correct?
Absolutely. Just a quick note on Danny Green. In the series, he shot 24 times in 2 games. Percentages are bad, but again, for a guy that's shooting 24 times in 2 games, you'll love to see it at 4,600. That's exactly what we want. And specifically last game, 10 3-point shot attempts. He went 3 for 10. If he ends up dropping an extra 1, an extra 2, similar to what he did for my Raptors last year, he's a guy that can be a great contributor for this Lakers team as they look to get LeBron his 4th ring, right? So Danny Green is somebody that really interests me. Surprisingly, a safer floor compared to everybody else in this lower range. And KCP is strictly a minutes thing. Playing 30 plus on a Lakers offense that, yes, it has LeBron, yes, it has AD, but they often get doubled. LeBron's one of, if not the best passer in the league. So KCP is going to get some wide open looks, and you could see by his shooting percentages, he's shooting over 500 in the series right now. So he does have limited attempts, but again, with those high percentage shots and the space that he has to maneuver with because of everyone drawing attention to LeBron and AD, KCP makes for a great play as well.
Yeah, I like that. I think those Lakers guards, as you said, Danny Green is getting the shots. And again, we follow the process. We don't watch the box score, but we see he had 12 shots. What's going to happen if he has 12 shots again? Better chance that some of them actually fall. And we've seen Danny Green do it in the playoffs, just last year for your Raptors. So it's definitely something that we can see happening, and it's understanding the process of wanting to do something. Maybe we're wrong again with Danny Green. You never know. Things happen. But if you do the same thing, if you have the process down, and if you believe in the process, that's how you win money with us. And that's what we're here to teach you, how to win daily, right? You get the name. We get the name now. Great job, guys. But no, I kid, of course. And so another one, you said, did you bring up Dwight Howard, or did I just think you brought up Dwight Howard?
Not yet.
Okay, because Dwight Howard has been doing his thing. I know you were a little higher on Javale Mcgee going into this series. Then we saw Dwight Howard kind of come out, and I don't think he played a single minute in the Rocket series, right? But then he comes out and he has I'm not going to say vintage Dwight Howard game, because I think we forgot how friggin' incredible Dwight Howard was in his prime, but a pretty respectable Dwight Howard game. We were pretty happy about it. I mean, talk to me about him and Javale Mcgee. If you're on one, off one, if that price makes that much of a difference between the two, how do you feel about this front court for the Lakers?
So Dwight got into some foul trouble last game, which is why he didn't exactly have the best game compared to game 1. But game 1, he looked great out there. Dropped 13 and 3, and I think he actually picked up 2 steals or 2 blocks, one of the 2 for sure as well. So he went en route to nearly 25 DK points. So he's a guy that definitely interests me. But I do prefer the other 3 guys, but they'll also be heavier owned, right? So most people will end up having to choose between JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard. Very rarely do people run both of them in the same lineup, and rightfully so. JaVale McGee is somebody that can go off at any time because he's such a high fantasy point per minute producer, in the sense that will he ever get 30 plus minutes? Absolutely not. But seeing the 15 minutes, hopefully we get there, that he does end up seeing, he could easily drop 15 to 20 DK points in a limited amount of time, right? So when you're stooping all the way down low to that $2,000 range, JaVale McGee isn't exactly the worst play. Hasn't had all that much usage in a series like this because it's typically AD right out of the gate, just attacking the paint, and obviously that hurts JaVale McGee, who's up there with him. But again, it's a showdown slate, right? So you're going to want to split your exposure pretty much everywhere. You're running multiple lineups, at least 5 to 10 in contests that allow you to do so. Then JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard are definitely in play. McGee does have the slight advantage for me just from a price standpoint, but Howard will, as long as he stays out of foul trouble and gets enough run, then he might outproduce JaVale McGee. But needless to say, either one of them, I'm okay with. They wouldn't be in my single entry build, or maybe not even in a 3 max. They wouldn't necessarily be in my primary player pool, but they're definitely in my MME type of contest.
I love it. I love it. And we actually got a great comment here by Robert Smith. He said he wants to win nightly. And because of that, Robert, we're going to go back to your comment you had a couple minutes ago. Is Mr. Dozier worth a shot in GPP? I know you and I were actually literally talking about this before we came on air. You're like, I want to see how many minutes PJ Dozier had. So talk to me, Ghost. I mean, he had what, 14, 15 minutes, right? Something like that. I mean, are you, again, it's giant GPPs. Of course, you kind of have to get exposure everywhere, but how much money are you willing to put on the line with PJ Dozier in one of your lineups?
Probably based on the type of contest that I enter, probably not in my main lineup. I don't even want to say probably, definitely not in my main lineup, strictly based on the type of contest that I play in single entry and whatnot. But if I am entering multiple lineups in those 150 maxes, then that's when I'll get my exposure to PJ Dozier. Definitely somebody that has my interest tonight. Pretty much didn't play versus the Clippers. I think he got a combined 15 minutes in that series. And then game 1, we saw him play 12 minutes. Last game, played 14. He's somebody that could score. And that's exactly what I want from a guy off the bench, right? So a lot of these guys, like I don't really want to mention him in the same category because he's simply a much better player. But that's exactly why we were so high on Jordan Clarkson heading into the NBA bubble, right? Both Jason and I were pretty much talking about him months leading up to the NBA bubble. And he went out there and did his thing, was often and ended up being one of the highest owned players as we got to game 4 and 5 that Utah ended up playing. But we were on him way before that at lower ownership. And that's exactly what you want from a guy that comes off the bench, somebody that's willing to attack the basket, get involved offensively, and not be timid out there, right? So PJ Dozier is that guy, and it is often coming at the sacrifice of somebody like Monte Morris, which makes me a little bit lower on a guy like that. But again, if he could get enough run to see, again, 15 minutes, something like that, and he can get you 10 to 15 points, I'd be very happy with something like that from a guy that's under $2,000 on a showdown slate, right? So your primary objective with playing a guy like PJ Dozier is that you want to jam 3 out of the 4 studs with some solid value plays, or if not, you're actually jamming all 4 of them in the lineup, if that's even possible. Maybe if we have time left, we could actually try and do that, see if we could jam all 4. But if you're playing a guy like PJ Dozier, it's because you want LeBron, AD, and one of Joker or Maul, or if it is mathematically possible, I can't lie and say that I've tried it myself yet. You're jamming all 4, then absolutely, I'm taking a shot on a guy like PJ Dozier.
And now we got to try, right? So we saw what it looks like with Anthony Davis up top. You can't do it if you have Anthony Davis up top. So we're going to have to go to the bottom of the 4. And I don't think we're, it's really that big of a deal. It's probably going to be pretty difficult. Nope, impossible. It is impossible to fit all 4 in. We can't even fit PJ Dozier in with this build right here. He doesn't even fit in. So
that's what I thought. So
it's difficult. I think PJ Dozier, again, looking at the way it shakes out with LeBron James and AD, I think if you're going with one of them two, obviously there's that, obvious discrepancy. LeBron James to Jamal Murray is about 3,900. So that's an entire Alex Caruso plus away, right? So it's understanding like when and where you can fit PJ Dozier, and I think is the best way to go about it. And I think, again, hey, we're playing a lot. We are playing a lot. You can put, Robert, you can put all 4 in if none are in the captain. But Robert, come on. Who are you going to put in the captain? I mean, I don't know. You want to put PJ Dozier in? No, I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. But no, I think that there's.
I did just make a lineup with 3 out of the 4 of them with PJ Dozier, and since we can't give out full lineups per se, two of my other players that I had mentioned. So I'm not going to say exactly who it is, but two out of that range that I had mentioned and spoken about for a long duration of time. You can fit those kinds of guys with Anthony Davis at the captain spot, which is exactly what I want tonight. So that build's actually looking a lot better than I thought it would. Maybe run that for whoever mentioned Dozier. Who mentioned Dozier? Robert. Yeah. So in honor of Robert, I'm definitely gonna have to run a lineup like this. Probably run this exact lineup that I just built. But again, you can get 3 out of the 4 and end up having a nicely constructed build there. So PJ Dozier it is. I'm definitely not in single entry or 3 max, but again, if you're running multiple lineups, I'm all for it.
We are all for it. And of course, so that is our breakdown of the DFS slate. That is our breakdown with the DraftKings slate. But of course, as everybody knows, we want to give you more ways to win money. We need more ways to win money. That's why we are here. We are Win Daily, right? So our friends over at Thrive Fantasy, we want to shout them out. They're good partners of ours. We appreciate the heck out of them. And what we like to do is we like to look at what Thrive Fantasy has in their props. We love playing props. Who the hell doesn't love to play props, right? It's just you're picking overs, you're picking unders, and let's be honest, life's way too short to play the under. So why do we even bother there? But what we're going to do, our friends at Thrive are very good to us, and we're very good to you. So what you can do is you can go to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code WINDAILY. They'll give you up to a $50 matching bonus. They have a bunch of NFL stuff too, but obviously here we're talking about the NBA. $50 matching bonus, and then you get 3 months free of Win Daily Sports Gold membership, where you get our expert chat, you get our projection models, you get all the articles that you could ever want to win a bunch of money. We just had someone hit for 10K over the NFL weekend. I mean, we had multiple people hit for thousands and thousands of dollars, multiple thousands of dollars. So we always love to play these props here. So go play a couple of these props. Ghost is going to give you 2 locks. We'll give you 2 that are a little friskier. So we'll see, maybe if you're really feeling yourself, you play them. But we'll give you 2 locks. You go win money. Then you get 3 months free of Win Daily Sports. And then we'll help you win more money. It's this endless cycle that we have here. So we appreciate the hell out of all of you for letting us do this for you. As we said, we do this for you guys more than we do it for ourselves. So Ghost, talk to me. You had the under on Nikola Jokic last time. Did that hit? I don't remember. I'll be honest. It did hit. Okay. We had the under on Joker. What else did we have last time? You were 4.
Took the under on Jeremy Grant, over on rebounds and assists for Rondo.
Mm-hmm.
The one that didn't hit was LeBron.
No way.
Over 44.5. So we ended up going 4 for 5 again last show.
Hey,
it's been 3 in a row. The fourth one, the fourth last one before the last 3 was the last time we went 5 for 5. So 3 4 for 5s in a row now. Hopefully end up being 5 for 5 today. I think we only have 7 or 8 props to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
definitely gonna have to narrow it down.
Yeah, we're gonna give you 2 locks. That's the important part. Go take those locks and take it home. If you see here on the site, if you go 2 for 2, you win 3.6 times your money. So you put in $10, you win 36. So you're going to get a free 50. You can then put $50 on these 2 locks, and then you 3.6 times your money, which is another 50 change, something like that. I'm not great at math. I need Sia, my other co-host, for math. He's my math guy. I don't know about you, Ghost, but all right, talk to me about these locks. Where are we going? Are you going to go back to the well with LeBron? Are you going to go back to the well with Jokic? I got to know, man. I got to know.
So we're going top two props that are there, and we don't live for unders.
We don't.
So I'm taking both of those overs.
Ooh, baby,
over 23.5 for my boy Nikola Jokic, and AD. I've been talking about him. We've been live for just under half an hour now. We've pretty much been talking about him for 29 minutes straight. AD is going over 38.5 points and rebounds. He's taking over the series.
You've definitely been thinking about him for over 29 minutes. I'll give you that, man. So I got to ask, I think the over-under prop on Jokic last time was 22.5 points. We took the under. Yeah. We were right. What makes you think that the over of, they're giving us the extra point too. Why do you think this over is going to hit this time?
So Joker in elimination games typically floated around 30 points per game in these playoffs and throughout pretty much any important game that Denver has played recently. He's always touched at least over 25. So with game 3, their backs are up against the wall here. If they lose this one, they're pretty confident if they're down 3-1, but again,
Mm.
they have to win this one to be able to go down 3-1, right? So
Yes.
I'll be taking Jokic over 23.5. When we took the under, it was in game one. He was absolutely gassed, and that was exactly what happened. Him and Maul seem like they're ready to go here, and they're primed to put up a fight here for this game 3.
I love it. And Anthony Davis is pretty self-explanatory. Probably pulls down 12 boards. I think he can hit 27 points, and especially what he's been doing, I think that's a pretty easy one at this point. So go use promo code WINDAILY over at Thrive Fantasy. You get $50 free. You get 3 months free of Win Daily Sports, which is a $90 value on itself. So that's $140. And then we just made you money. So if you take that 50 that you put in that was free, you can triple it. And man, I mean, again, I can't do math that well, but look how much money we just made you right here in the last like 3 minutes. You're welcome. But now we just got to point out, if you go 3 for 3, you get 6.2 times your money. Okay. If you go 4 for 4, it's 11 times your money. So you take that $50. Ghost helps you go 4 for 4. I think I can do that. That's $550. That's not bad. So Ghost, you've been going 4 for 5 a lot. Let's make it 4 for 4 today. Let's start with 3 for 3. I guess we got to take our baby steps here. Where is the next spot you're going to make it 3 for 3 so people can win even more money?
So if it was Jeremy Grant, PRA, points, rebounds, and assists, and that number was floating at around 15, 16, 17, similarly to what it has been in game 1 and 2, I'd probably be all over that. But points and assists is something that kind of scares me a little bit with Jeremy Grant. So never thought I'd be going with this one for number 3, but 17 and a half points and rebounds for Michael Porter Jr. is simply too low. For a guy of that magnitude that's extremely talented, he's pretty much the third best scorer that they have on that team. As long as Mike Malone tries to figure out that Paul Millsap is like 50 years past his prime, then hopefully Michael Porter Jr. ends up getting some decent minutes. But again, game 1 and 2, I think he dropped back-to-back games of 15 points. Let me just double check. 15 and 14, multiple rebounds that are there. In game 1, he actually got double-digit rebounds. So when he's out there, he's typically going up against a guy like Kyle Kuzma, who is virtually non-existent on the glass. So he ends up getting to attack there. He could basically shoot over anybody that matches up on him against the wing, as long as it's not AD. And he never really plays one-on-one against AD, because who would want to do that, right? So yeah, Michael Porter Jr., 17.5 points and rebounds. Definitely take the over there.
Taking the over there. I like that one too. I think that makes sense. They're going to have to score. They're going to need someone to score, and he's probably the third best scorer on this team. Granted, dude can't play defense, but we all kind of keep forgetting he barely played. He didn't play his first year. Then he didn't really play this last year, and just kind of came onto the scene in the bubble. And now we're just criticizing the shit out of this guy. It's like, well, let's give him a second, man. Like, let's see what happens next year. Maybe he gets a little bit. He got good enough to start playing significantly here. I think it's at least worth our time to give him an extra minute. So where are we going? Our fourth pick. Again, this is a little friskier. We understand that, everybody. So this one's not a lock. Those first two, just smash them. We're good. We got nothing to worry about. Where are we going with this friskier pick?
So, I live for the overs, but the frisky picks, that's where I end up trending towards the unders sometimes. This one's really low, so tread with caution, but that's exactly why it's a risky pick, especially over at Thrive. If you're entering those GBP style format tournaments where, it's all about not only picking as many props correctly as you can, but also gathering the most amount of points. Under 7.5 points for Rajon Rondo is something that definitely caught my eye. Now, that number is really low. He could get to the line, a couple easy layups. It really doesn't take that much for Rajon Rondo to get there. I don't think he's fully healed from his back spasms. He's playing less minutes than Alex Caruso right now. And when they're out there, they're primarily out there together. Caruso's doing most of the heavy work on that offensive end. Rondo's doing his thing, dishing the rock. Came an assist shy of 10 in both games 1 and 2, but he touched 3 points in game 2 and 7 points in game 1. So that one was a little close. But again, 10 field goal attempts in 2 games, shooting the ball 5 times per game, under 7.5 for Rajon Rondo tonight for me is the friskiest pick of the bunch, but something that interests me.
Definitely very frisky there. But again, reading off those stats, we're not box score watchers. We watch the game, everybody. And as Ghost said, he doesn't look healthy yet. I think the dude is incredible, and I think he's the third best player on this team. I'm just a little pissed off. And we have to call up our friends at Thrive and say, where the hell is our Alex Caruso PRA? Because Ghost would have smashed Ghost would have smashed that Alex Caruso PRA, but unfortunately, it was not there for us. So those are our 4 picks. Do you have a 5th one? I feel like a 5th one might be excessive. I mean, we're pretty much picking everything at that point.
I don't know. I might hit up our boy from Thrive and tell him to put a PRA of Alex Caruso of like 59.5, and I'd still take the over there. Don't actually take that if it pops up on the screen there. He's not going over 60 tonight, but
hey,
again,
crazier things, man. Crazier things. So remember, everybody, go to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code WINDAILY. They give you a $50 matching bonus. We then wage you money with that. And then you can come over to windailysports.com for free for 3 months with our gold membership. That's all of our expert chat where you get to ask questions to Ghost directly. You get to ask questions to all of our DFS and betting pros directly. You get to read all of our articles. You get all of our projections to help you with the best possible slates. In NFL season, we have been absolutely cashing. I'm very confident. Everybody over here at HNB, you're going to be seeing a lot of more NFL content. Ghost has been killing it. Nick has been killing it. Sia and I are doing the betting show, which has been a lot of fun. So you'll all be seeing a lot more of that. But go to Thrive Fantasy, make some money with us, and it's all free, essentially. We just gave you everything for free, and you're welcome for that. So, Ghostman, where can everybody find you on the internet in case they just want to follow you on Twitter and see what you're up to on a daily basis?
At DFS_Ghost over on Twitter and in our Win Daily Discord channel. Make sure you guys come and join us as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, because we're making a lot of money, everybody. You can follow me at Michael Rasile1. Make sure to follow us at Win Daily Sports. Again, windailysports.com. And if you want to just hang out in the Discord chat and see how much fun it is, windailysports.com/chat. You get 7 free days in that Discord chat. And as our good friend Stovey says, best Discord in the business. He's been to a couple. He's a good guy, but he's been to a couple, and we appreciate the hell out of him for that one. So for Ghostman, for everybody here in the Win Daily Sports family, for myself, we hope you all make it a very profitable Western Conference Finals Game 3.